some guests are already pre-seated. That is the communication director of CSA. He's pre-seated alongside folks from the National Fishery and Agriculture Authority. They are pre-seated. So further updates will be provided by Honorable Gamin Koboy, the Director General of the Liberia Intellectual Property Office. She is expected to speak on recent stakeholders, engagements, and ongoing reforms aimed at strengthening Liberia intellectual property protection. The discussion will focus on enhancing innovation of protecting creator rights and positioning Liberia within our regional and international intellectual property framework. So once again, I would like to encourage you to stick and still us as I bring you full updates of MOI press briefing. Keep following. So that's Honorable Gamin Kowe. She's the Director General of the Liberia Intellectual Property. She's pretty seated and waiting the conference to begin. So once again, as a journalist, I would like to say welcome to this live broadcast. I'm coming to you live at the Ministry of Information. So today is a full house. Today's a full house. Today conference is going to be updated long. So we'd like to encourage you to stick and still with us. I'll stick and still with us as I bring you full updates on today press briefing. Keep following. So, additionally, Honorable Fatima Binta Saleh, the Deputy Minister for Urban Affairs at the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development and Urban Affairs, is expected to address the press here also at MICAT. So she will give her role and institutional structure. She will also highlight operational expansion efforts in data strengthening urban governance and improving coordination with local authority and support sustainable community development initiatives across the country. So I will encourage you to stick and still with us. I will stick and still with us as I bring you full updates of MOI. So that's the arrival of Honorable Sarah Simwe. He's the Director General of the National Fishery and Agriculture Authority, the Acting Minister of Information, Honorable Daniel Sano, along with his assistant. So we're sticking still as a beautiful updates on the press briefing. Keep following.
To our esteemed guests, members of the public, our media police, our radio listeners, and television viewers, I'd like to welcome you to the Ministry of Information, Charles William Hall, our regular press briefing this afternoon. The Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs, Daniel Sanders, will preside over today's press briefing. I have the distinguished honor to invite on the national podium Mr. Daniel Sambo. Mr. Sambo.
So the another voice of the acting assistant minister for information services, this is Honorable Daniel Otesano. He's now the acting minister of information. So sticking still with us as I bring you full updates on to the press briefing. Keep following.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Good afternoon to our distinguished friends and visiting guests who come from the Civil Service Agency, the National Agricultural and Fisheries Authority. I see folks from the LMP are also here. I know it's a joint partnership. So we want to welcome all of you folks from the Ministry of Transport to the Charles Bayon conference room here at the Ministry of Information. We are anticipating the arrival of the Honorable Director General of the Civil Service, the Transport Minister, Sally Ralph Tyler. We want to welcome our dear friend, J. Sarah Simley, who is the head of NAPA. We want to welcome all of you to both J. Sarah Simley. Our dear sister, our dear sister, Game Fowe from the Liberia Intellectual Property Office. So you can see that we have a full house. The list is very jammed. And we want to ask for your undivided attention as we start the press briefing. Today is convening a cabinet meeting at the executive mansion. That cabinet meeting has been attended by our dear Minister, Honorable Jeremy Mavipia, who returned to the country yesterday. Therefore, he cannot be here. He's attending the cabinet meeting called by the President. But we just want to throw light on the agenda of that cabinet meeting, what it's all about. The President places a lot of emphasis on the implementation of the AARD. So this cabinet meeting is called for the one and singular purpose of reviewing the implementation of the AARD, that is the Arrest Agenda for Inclusive Development. So the way RBT is organized, there will be presentation by various sector leads. There are 6 pillars. Pillar 1 is economic transformation. Of course, the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning is the lead on the implementation of Pillar 1. Infrastructure development, the Ministry of Public Works. Pillar 3 is the rule of law pillar, the Ministry of Justice. Pillar 4 is about governance and anti-corruption. The Governance Commission and the Liberia Anti-Corruption will lead the presentation of pillar. Pillar 3, pillar 5, is environmental sustainability. The Ministry of Mines and Energy is a lead on that bill. We will lead the presentation before the Cabinet. Bill 6, which is Human Capital Development. The Ministry of Education is lead, and it will lead the presentation. All of these presentations are intended to bring the President's Cabinet up to speed on where we are as a country as far as the implementation of the AARD is concerned. The AARD is a national development tool, and it is important for us as a country and as a government to regularly track how far we are with the implementation to inform us on the way forward as far as the implementation is concerned. So Minister Pia is attending our cabinet meeting, and I'm very certain that at the close of the day, members of the media, the executive mansion press, will have the opportunity to interview the minister at the close of that meeting, and then the public will be told what the outcome of the meeting will be. That being said, I'll make a few comments on a number of issues before we entertain remarks from our distinguished guests. Everything that we see happening in the country is intended to address major concerns, major problems that were inherited. So the Deputy Minister for Technical Services at the Ministry of Public Works, Mr. Prince Tamba, is currently in Tokyo, Japan. He's representing the government of Liberia in the bid opening process for the contract negotiations for the expansion of the Japan Freeway projects. Last year we announced that the funding for the construction of the road from from Freeport to the Gilbert Bridge was secured, but there are procurement steps in keeping with international standards that we have to follow. So Mr. Tamba is in Japan representing the government of Liberia. For this project, Liberia formally requested the government of Japan to expand the freeway project to cover the Freeport to Gilbert Bridge corridor, which is 1.9 kilometers. This grant financing from the government of Japan is expected to rehabilitate and modernize the critical road segment from Freeport to Gilbert Bridge. The scope of work includes 4 alignment reconfiguration, elevation of the roadway, and installation of proper drainage and stormwater management system to permanently address the age-old persistent flooding challenges that continue to affect our corridors. Also, while the Deputy Minister is in Japan, he will follow up on the Japan International Cooperation Agency, Joekai, regarding the government's request submitted during the Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TICA 9, which was held in Yokohama from August 20th to 22nd, 2025, for support towards the construction of a new parallel bridge alongside the existing Gilbert Bridge. It is worth recalling that a 2009 JICA master plan identified the urgent need to strengthen urban infrastructure in Monrovia
through the rehabilitation of deteriorated road networks, construction of missing lane bridges, and improvement of urban sanitation facilities. The current initiative aligns directly with those strategic recommendations. The broader objective of the project is to enhance national resilience and urban economic productivity by strengthening Monrovia's core transport infrastructure. This includes the construction of a modern 450-foot parallel bridge to the existing Gibraltar Bridge, elevation of the existing bridge to improve navigation clearance, and the development of a grade-separated overpass linking the Johnson Broad Street intersection directly to the bridge. Collectively, these interventions will significantly improve urban mobility, reduce intersection congestion, and enhance road safety, and eliminate high-risk single-point failure within the national road network. Yesterday, the President, His Excellency Joseph Joekai, signed Executive Order Number 159, consolidating and expanding the mandate of the National Commission, the Liberia Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission, the LRRC. The order is intended to strengthen national coordination on refugee protection, migration governance, statelessness response, and integration of returned Liberians. The executive order incorporates provisions of Executive Order Number 144, while modernizing Liberia's institutional framework to address evolving population movements, migration trends, and humanitarian challenges affecting the country. In issuing the order, the President emphasized that Liberia continues to experience complex migration dynamics, including mixed migration flows, residual refugee population, stateless crossing in border communities, and the increased return and deportation of Liberian nationals from abroad. The President noted that a unified national coordination mechanism is essential to safeguarding national security, promoting social cohesion, and ensuring humanitarian protection. Under Executive Order Number 159, the LRRC is expected to include refugee protection and durable solution, including asylum coordination, voluntary repatriation, local integration and resettlement, migration governance and coordination of border reception, and migrant referral systems, identification and response to statelessness, including data collection and nationality documentation support, reception, protection, and reintegration of deported and returned Liberians and internally displaced persons, migration data management, research and early warning analysis, and policy coordination as the government leads technical advisory body on refugee, migration, and returnee-related matters. The executive order further designates the LRRC as Liberia's central coordinating institution on all refugee, migration, statelessness, and returnee affairs, requiring full cooperation from relevant ministries, agencies, and commissions of government. Executive Order Number 159 also establishes a transitional governance framework pending legislative enactment creating the Refugee and Migration Commission of Liberia, RAMCOM, which will assume the responsibilities outlined in the order upon the legal establishment. Additionally, the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning has been directed by the President to take appropriate fiscal and administrative arrangement to support the Commission's expanded mandate, while the HRC is authorized to engage international partners and donors consistent with national priorities. The Executive Director of the HRC will submit periodic implementation report directly to the President to ensure accountability, oversight, effectiveness, oversight, and measurable progress. The government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Commerce and Industry and the Liberia Petroleum Refining Company, LPRC, has released a circular maintaining existing fuel price ceilings. According to the new circular, retail prices remain at US $4.02, Liberian $755 for a gallon of gasoline or PMS, and US $4.33 or Liberian $810 per gallon for feed. These prices are based on the prevailing Central Bank of Liberia rate, which is at 187 to $1. The government assures the public that Liberia holds significant petroleum stock and that contingency measures are in place to prevent artificial shortages or unjustified price hikes. The government emphasizes continual market monitoring to safeguard customers while ensuring supply stability. Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation is undertaking a comprehensive reconditioning of sewer network across Monrovia to address sewage overflow and seepages. Rehabilitation work continues in other parts of the city, including the persistent problem area at the center or intersection of Benson and Gary Street in Central Monrovia. The LWSC has also begun drilling boreholes in major cities across Southeast Liberia to restore treated potable water to residents in that area. The LWSC announced that materials for the water project in Zwedu, Pligo, and Greenville cities have arrived, and the implementation is progressing on schedule. The corporation remains committed to fully restoring tap water service to all citizens in all regions of Liberia. The Joint Kennedy Medical Center, JFK, has launched a $132.87 million 5-year strategic plan with the goal of reimagining excellence to transform Liberia's premier tertiary hospital into a high-performing, patient-centered, multi-specialty, innovation-led institution. The plan was developed through a multi-stakeholder process and is structured around 8 pillars: leadership and governance, workforce development, high-quality services, essential supplies and diagnostics, infrastructure modernization and expansion, medical education and research, integrated digital health system, and financial sustainability. Major initiatives of the plan include a new JFK expansion, a new JFK hospital, which includes the expansion of the Liberian Japanese Maternity Center wings and a proposed 300-bed trauma and brain center. Implementation will use details, activities plan, timelines, accountability, and monitoring and evaluation. The total cost of the project is put at $132.873 million. The government PSRP project stands at $9.5 million. The financing gap is $123,373,330 to be mobilized. Stakeholders, including the legislature, the Ministry of Health, endorse the plan, and the international partners have pledged the support. Yesterday, President Joekai launched the 2026 National Ramadan Rice Distribution at the Benson Street Mosque in Monrovia, and that launch and distribution will be done, or is being done, through the Minister of State of our portfolio, accountability. This initiative embodies the President's commitment to fostering unity by engaging with Muslim communities across Liberia during the holy month of Ramadan. Since assuming office, President Joekai has consistently demonstrated his dedication to inclusive governance, emphasizing that Ramadan is a period of reflection and generosity. Lastly, before we invite our first guest to the podium, the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning is hosting a Korean delegation for the 2025-2026 KSP AFDB Joint Consulting on Domestic Resource Mobilization. This initiative is supported. The delegation is from the Korean Export and Import Bank and the RGB and company from the country from March 1st to the 4th, 2026, and the initiative is part of a joint consulting to enhance domestic resource mobilization in Liberia through evidence-based reforms. The initiative is a research grant from the government of Korea, valued at $226,000 on its knowledge sharing program. The project is being implemented in partnership with the African Development Bank and the International Bank partner, and the only international bank partnering in the mission. The joint consulting engagement seeks to strengthen Liberia's domestic revenue mobilization framework through rigorous research and evidence-based policy reforms. The study will assess existing systems, identify gaps and constraints, and propose practical safeguards to enhance revenue performance, institutional effectiveness, and macroeconomic stability. As part of the mission, a delegation will hold consultation with key stakeholders and convene a launching seminar on today, March 5th at 10 a.m. at the Boulevard Palace Hotel in Singa to formally commence the research activities. Thank you for your attention. I want to stop here because we have a very long list of guests, so we give all our guests the time to speak, and we also give you the opportunity to ask your question to the distinguished speakers here today. Let me now start with our President, the Director General of the Civil Service Agency, who's joined the year with the CSA boss, the Minister of Transport. Not too sure it's going to be long, as always,
It's a critical national issue. I will give it attention. And then you'll be followed by our dear brother J. Saracen Senior. and then our dear sister Karen Kuri, the Liberia Intellectual Property Office, will speak.
So I just listened to Honorable Daniel Odesano, who is now the acting Minister of Information. Also, next is Honorable Sarah Simbe, or the Director General of the National Fishery and Agriculture Authority. Honorable Simbe will now address our concerns regarding our fishery authority. So keep following. So I'd like to encourage you to stick and still with us. As I bring you full updates on MOI press briefing today. Keep following.
Good afternoon, friends and colleagues in Riddleland, members of the full estate. Let me start first by recognizing my able committee members. The Bongeman is here. That's how we like to open it. Bongeman, it's a Pele word meaning gathering. And that's the name given to the Fisheries Investment Conference. Let me now recognize the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who is co-chairing the steering committee, the steering committee. We also have colleagues from the Liberia Immigration Services, from the Liberia National Police, the Liberia Intellectual Property Authority, also here. The firm that was competitively recruited as the event planner for this conference. And then I call my striker and midfielder, who is also here to give guidance. Senior colleagues, the Honorable Minister of Transport, DG, Honorable Sando, thank you for affording us this platform, and other colleagues. Let me just give a little quick background context of why we are organizing or intending to host the National Fisheries Investment Conference. We all know that the Liberian resources in terms of fishery resources is immense. 254,000 biomass, that is population of deep water species or fish as we will call it, and 94,000 of surface water. Out of those, Liberia is harvesting just 53,000 metric tons every year. As part of that 53,000, 17,000 is harvested through our international tuna vessels. And so we believe that a lot of our natural resources hasn't been much capitalized on so that it benefits the people in terms of our own focus as it relates to sustainable fisheries management, job creation, food security in the sector. This conference aligns with our arrest agenda for inclusive development. How is that? It does because it contributes and gives the platform for us to enhance the kind of sustainability we want in our sector. Definitely going to push towards job creation, food security, and the bread and butter issue for our Liberian people in urban and rural communities. It also aligns with the African Union Blue Economic Strategy that talks about sustainable fisheries governance. It also aligns with the ECOWAS Fisheries Maritime Framework, which of course ensures that fisheries policies adhere to regional standards and international commitments. It also aligns with SDG 14, Life Below Water. What is the objective of this conference? Liberia intends to showcase the opportunities, investment opportunities we have in our sector. Some of the best species, high-value species we have in our waters. The conference intends to showcase and inform the world that Liberia has the potential to be able to tap into those resources. And if possible, where we have much of it leveraged in other countries' expertise. The conference will also create a dialogue of public-private partnership, business-to-business, government-to-business dialogue, and also tap into other regional opportunities that are there. As I said, Golden Touch Corporation was recruited to organize this conference competitively through the World Bank. But there are other players. And so when we began the planning, we thought it wise to make it much more inclusive because it is a national call, it's a national concern. And so we got the National Investment Commission on board, the Bureau of State-Owned Enterprises on board, the Liberia Artisanal Fishermen Association, the Liberia Intellectual Property Authority, Liberia Maritime Authority, National Port Authority, Ministry of National Defense, Ministry of Agriculture, Liberia Immigration Services, Liberia National Police, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Central Bank of Liberia, the Liberia Business Registry, National Oil Company of Liberia, the Ministry of Information, the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs. The conference will go for 2 days. It starts March 30th to the 31st. And it will be held at the Farmington Hotel. One of the reasons why we didn't opt for the ministerial complex because of the ongoing construction. And so that will put our guests into a kind of traffic jam. And so from March 30th to the 31st, we're going to convene at the Farmington Hotel, which of course is a 2-day event. The structure of the conference will have what we call a blue marketplace. And that blue marketplace is intended to showcase some of our exotic species in our waters. So the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority, scientists at the Fisheries Authority will be speaking to guests and showcasing some of our high-value species. We'll also have our development partners showcasing some of the interventions they are doing in Liberia. We also have guests coming in from Slovenia to showcase what we call the Blue Tracker technology. It's a kind of technology that fight against illegal fishing. And so Liberia is kind of partnering with them to see how well we can introduce artificial intelligence into fighting IUU. We'll also have our police coming in from Morocco, the fisheries international fisheries industry, to showcase some of the ways they add value to fisheries and how can we learn from it. We'll also have Liberians, fish farmers, showcasing some of their species, the tilapia, the catfish, and how it is grown. And we have value addition from some of our entrepreneurs, SMEs, that are in Liberia. The conference, as I said, will be for 2 days. And it's broken down into different segments. Day one will actually look at four thematic areas. We'll be looking at what we call the fisheries and the blue economy as drivers of economic transformation. The moderator of that session is coming from the University of Cape Coast. The sustainable fisheries management governance. And the moderator of that session is a former UNFAO colleague who's coming in to help. Investment opportunities in aquaculture and inland fisheries will be done by the president of the Chamber of Commerce for Aquaculture in Ghana. Will be moderating that. Financing the blue economy will be moderated by Honorable Depu Zuo, Deputy Minister of Economic Management, Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. Each one of these sessions will have panelists, and so the panelists are mixed between Liberians and international. Day two will look at climate resilience and environmental sustainability, and that will be done by our own Joseph Charles, Assistant Director, and BBNJ focal point at the Environmental Protection Agency. And then we have value addition, trade and market access which will be done by Honorable Stephen Mammon, Director General of the Liberia's Tender Authority, and he will be moderating that. Technology, Innovation, and Skills Development will be moderated by Mr. Dries Tassa, who is from the Atlantic African Fisheries Commission in Rabat, Morocco. Community Development, Livelihoods, and Social Inclusion will be moderated by Lovin Kibushili, who is the president for the Women Fish Processors and Trailers Network around the world. She's based in Uganda. Strengthening Partnerships and Blue Economy Development will be moderated by Kelvin Augustine Abuka, who is the manager for Investment Advisory, coming from Uganda. So there will be 9 experienced professionals moderating the 9 different partners, 6 international, 3 nationals. The panelists will be 44 panelists. Every session we have panelists. And there will be 32 international panelists and 12 nationals. The opening ceremony will be graced by 6 ministers coming from the region. The Minister of Fisheries from Morocco, the Minister of Fisheries from Ghana, the Minister of Fisheries from Sierra Leone, the Minister of Rural Development from Sierra Leone, and the Secretary of State for Commerce from Morocco, and also our own Minister of Finance and Development Planning, as well as our Minister of Foreign Affairs, and the Chairman of the Board is the Minister of Agriculture. The President, His Excellency, will be launching 3 key documents for our sector. The 10-year strategic plan for the fisheries sector in Liberia will be launched by His Excellency. A public-private partnership strategy will also be launched. And an investment plan. These 3 documents are kind of essential to give us a direction of where the fisheries sector will go in the next 10 years. There will be 3 key partnership agreements signed. And those partnership agreements, one will be with Orange Liberia on how can we tap into the digital space in fisheries, using mobile technology in fisheries. We'll also have a partnership agreement on the Sea King. You all covered the Sea King last year. So the Sea King will have now a company. The process is almost done. We'll be signing a partnership agreement to operationalize the Sea King for the first 5 years. And then we'll see the output. When you go to Ramos-Put, there's a fishing cluster that was abandoned for almost 6-7 years. We're able to tap into a PPP partnership, and we'll be signing a 5-year agreement to revitalize the Ramos-Put cluster. Liberia will also be presenting 3 bankable investment proposals. One we call the Liberian Industrial Fishing Fleet. Our goal is to make sure that the country buys its own fishing fleet and outsource it to companies, to be Liberian companies that will partner with other companies to be able to get more involved in the fishing industry. And so the Liberian Industrial Fishing Fleet will be looking at 2 strippers, 3 semi-industrial, and also we'll be looking at other technologies that will help to tap into that space. We'll also be presenting what we call the Liberia Industrial Fishing Port and the dry dock proposal. Presently, we have the National Port Authority, but in terms of its own standards, we are not allowed to ensure that we land our fisheries resources at where other vessels are docking. And so Liberia needs to build an industrial fishing port. And so one of the bankable proposals will be the Liberia Industrial Fishing Port and the dry dock. As it stands, all of the vessels in Liberia go to Ghana, Senegal, and other countries to be maintained. We do not have a facility to maintain our vessels. And so that dry dock will afford us the opportunity to maintain our vessels. We'll also be presenting the Liberia Industrial Aquaculture Off-Taker Farm. Fish farming is becoming lucrative every day, and Liberia needs to man up. And so the first industrial fish farm will be built in Nima County, and we are tapping into ensuring that we have 3 additional ones in other 3 counties. So those will be the 3 bankable proposals that will be launched. So the conference will also have a closing of our best sensations. We want to also inform our guests that Liberia, like any other country, has that economic climate, that enabling environment that will allow businesses and conferences, partners to invest. So that's it on the National Fisheries Conference. As you move around Monrovia and you listen on the radio, we have lots of awarenesses moving around. We want to make sure that we bring this up to par. We were in Morocco a few weeks ago and attended the first Seafood for Africa conference. That was Liberia's debut. And what we saw, we're able to engage with a lot of our international partners, for which today we have a huge flow of international stakeholders attending the conference. Before I take a seat, let me also invite all of you to the Fish Market Day. Our next Fish Market Day is on the 14th of March, which is next week, Saturday, and it will be held at the Invincible Park. That partnership is with Orange Liberia, the World Food and Agriculture Organization, and we have 50 of our mothers displaying some of the best fish products in Liberia. And it's under the team from the net to the consumer. So every fish you will buy on Saturday will be coming from the landing sites in those canoes that you all see sometimes on the waters. There'll be a lot of activity. We're going to start 9 o'clock in the morning up to 6:30 in the evening. The next day is a national holiday. Come and buy your catfish, your tilapia, your gripper, your cassava fish at very rock bottom prices, from $5 to $50. The important part of it is that if you use Orange money, you have instant 10% discount as you go to buy. So activate your Orange money and come and buy. Buy the lobster, buy the crab, and what have you. Before I leave, the conference is actually being supported by 3 key partners. The World Bank is supporting the National Fisheries Investment Conference up to almost 89%. And the European Union is also supporting. We also have ProBlue supporting and Orange Liberia. And so we want to invite you, come let's make the difference in our fisheries sector. Thank you.
So that was the voice of Honorable Cyrus Singbe. He's the Director General of the National Fishery and Aquaculture Authority, and this is Honorable Salif Taylor. He's the Minister of Transport. So I'd like to encourage you to stick and still with us, as I bring you full updates on MOI press briefing, and keep following.
People say that if you want to get to CPR.
Oh, well, are you there? All right. Okay. The CSA, Honorable Joekai, my brother and friend, Deputy Minister Daniel Sando, ministers from the Ministry of Transport and DML, Deputy Minister for Energy Road Transport, Assistant Minister for Administration and Insurance, the Honorable James Momo, other officials of government, members of the Folk Estate, ladies and gentlemen.
Before I go, I'd like to tell our Segue that the Ministry of Transport is supporting him as well. And he didn't even mention us. So I'll go now have your publicity.
Sorry.
Anyway, we are partners. We are glad to do that for you. The Ministry of Transport would like to address recent development concerning the transition of certain operational functions previously carried out within 3 divisions of the Ministry of Transport and the resulting administrative adjustments affecting civil servants assigned to those units. So let me put this in context and straight to the point. The decision to transition the operational responsibilities of the affected divisions to the Liberia Traffic Management Incorporated is a policy decision taken at all levels of government, for which I fully support. Accordingly, the Ministry of Transport is proceeding with the implementation of this transition in keeping with that mandate. In practical terms, there are 3 divisions of the Ministry of Transport whose operational functions have now been transferred to the Liberia Traffic Management Inc., and those divisions are hereby dissolved. Their operational responsibility will henceforth be performed under the institutional framework of LTMI. However, it is important to state clearly and unequivocally that this structural adjustment does not translate into job losses for civil servants, especially those who have been duly employed within the affected divisions. The Director General of CSA will be here to talk more on the retention side, but government has taken all necessary human resources measures to ensure that all affected employees will appropriately be accommodated within the ministry revised administrative structure. In the coming days, employees affected by this transition will receive new assignment letters, and updated job descriptions will be developed in consultation with the CSA to reflect the ministry's evolving operational and regulatory responsibilities. Let me also assure employees, good employees, great employees, all employees at the Ministry of Transport, that no salaries will be tampered with as a result of this administrative transition. Again, no salary will be tampered with. What this change represents is not a displacement, but it is reorganization. The Ministry of Transport is transitioning toward a stronger, very stronger regulatory policy and oversight role within the land transport sector, while all other operational functions are aligned under the appropriate institutional framework. Hence, therefore, the division of motor vehicles is changed to the division of motor vehicle policy and regulations. The division of driver license is changed to the division of axle load management. The division of tricycles and motorcycles is changed to the division of traffic monitoring and enforcement. My ministerial team recognizes the change of this nature, particularly for civil servants who have worked within these divisions for many years. This may come as a shock, but we want to know we got you. We support you and we are there for you. Institutional transitions are rarely easy, and we fully appreciate the concerns that civil servants may have during the periods of adjustment. Nevertheless, public servants or folks that are called to public service should be able to adapt. We therefore urge all affected employees to move with the tide of reform and adjust accordingly as the ministry strengthens its mandate and institutional focus. At the same time, it is important to emphasize that while senior management has thus far treated certain instances of disorderly conduct among affected employees with restraint and understanding, the ministry will not tolerate actions that obstruct the work of government. Any employees who conduct himself or herself in a manner unbecoming of the civil servant or who engage in disorderly behavior that disrupt the operations of the ministry will be subject to applicable administrative and regulatory discipline measures under the CSA standing orders and other human resources regulation. The ministry encourages all employees to approach this transition with professionalism, discipline, and a clear understanding of their obligations as public servants. More broadly, every employee of the Ministry of Transport should view this transition as an opportunity. The Ministry of Transport is entering a phase in which its policy leadership, regulatory oversight, and strategic coordination of the land transport sector will be significantly strengthened. This evolution places the ministry in a stronger position to guide national transport policy and ensure higher standards across the sector. We therefore encourage all employees, including those affected by this adjustment, to rise to the occasion and contribute constructively to build a more stronger and more responsive transport sector for the Republic of Liberia. The ministry will be working closely with CSA and other relevant government institutions to ensure that this transition is implemented smoothly, responsibly, and professionally, and in a manner that respects both the authority of national government and the rights of all civil servants. Before I take my seat, I would just like to display to the press the administrative regulation issued by me today, dissolving all those 3 divisions and naming the newer divisions that I have just named. It will be given to the press. You can contact our Director for Press and Public Affairs, Mr. Shedrick Brown, who is here. The Director General of CSA will now come on and present the human resources side of the government, and we'll take any questions therefore. Thank you. Oh, you want me to let you out? Oh, okay. Come on. Yeah, I'll share it. All right, we'll get you. All right. Okay. All right. 1 minute.
It's okay, now we'll share it.
We'll share it, yeah? Make copies.
Thank you, Honorable Minister Sally Rapkala, my dear cabinet colleague, the Honorable Deputy Minister of Information, Honorable Daniel Sano, and the entire MOI team. It's really a pleasing honor to be back here. I know this place is a place that is a familiar spot. I'm always here regularly. And the last time I was here was when we transitioned the Cultural Affairs and Tourism departments to the Liberia National Tourism Authority. And so I'm glad to be back here today. Honorable Sarah Civic, the NAFA DG, my dear sister and colleague, the intellectual property giants, always refer to her, distinguished colleagues of government, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press. Today we are here, like the Minister of Transport indicated, to address a critical national issue. And today is going to be the formal, official, and final public intervention in this manner on this matter, because before I have a formal statement I'm going to read, but before I get scripted, let me just say that the last time when the employees at the Ministry of Transport protested in keeping with my role as Director General of the Civil Service Agency. I immediately went to the ministry and engaged with them. And many of you follow online, it was not a good scene. Employees who were supposed to be in the classified civil service. Classified civil service meaning technicians, professionals, were all over the place booing the Director General for something that he didn't create. And it was incomprehensible that I saw many faces of friends who I know and people who play or serve in critical roles at the Ministry of Transport involved in such unacceptable acts. And I could understand their frustrations. I could understand why they were manifesting the way they did. But again, those actions are unacceptable and unbecoming of the civil servants. However, we remain calm. We calm the situation. We assure them that definitely the concession was not their making. And besides that, it has served the institution, some of them for 5, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. They have now become professionals. And beyond their contributions, their institutional merit, and that they have to be referenced in the service of the institution and service to the Liberian people, to which they've committed. Again, as Director General, I convened an immediate meeting at the Civil Service Agency, and I'd like to say thanks to my dear colleague, Minister Tyler, who spent the entire day along with his Deputy Minister for Administration in my office, along with representatives of the quote-unquote concerned employees in my office. We were also joined by the President of the National Civil Servants Association. We spent an entire day. We engaged. We reasoned together. And we agreed. And as a matter of fact, I took the team to the Civil Service Agency's conference room, the Dr. C. William Allen conference room, and I showed them that we were going to have a joint meeting of all the employees concerned, so that as Director General, I will give a formal and final assurance the following day that nobody is going to lose their job, and that they're going to be appropriately reclassified, redeployed in keeping with the new regulations issued by the ministry. We all agree. And everybody left around 4 p.m. from 11 to 4 p.m. It was our responsibility to do that respectfully and constructively. To our utmost surprise, the following day, the meeting scheduled at 11 a.m. did not happen because the representatives of the employees concerned refused to turn out, refused out of courtesy to even call the Director General and say why they were unable to attend the meeting. And I think this is unacceptable. I am highlighting this to show that in the civil service, this is not going to happen anymore. It only happened in the case I'm referencing. That is a high level of disrespect and indiscipline that is inconsistent with civil service regulations. And so the purpose of going off script for the few minutes is to let you know the gravity of the issue, and that today we are here to bring this to finality. And so, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Civil Service Agency wishes to address recent public interest concerning administrative and human resource adjustments affecting certain operational divisions within the Ministry of Transport in the wake of the Liberia Traffic Management Incorporated concession. As the statutory authority responsible for personnel management and civil service oversight within the government, the Civil Service Agency has been working closely with the leadership of the Ministry of Transport to ensure that these structural adjustments are implemented in full compliance with laws, regulations, and personnel management standards governing the Liberian Civil Service. This process forms part of a broader national effort to modernize traffic management systems, strengthen regulatory oversight, and improve service delivery while protecting the livelihoods of civil servants whose work has historically supported these functions. To guard this transition, the Civil Service Agency weeks ago conducted a comprehensive personnel and credential verification exercise within the Ministry of Transport with emphasis on the Department of Land and Rail Transport of the Ministry. The objective of the verification exercise was to verify and standardize personnel credential records, assess workforce composition and divisional distribution, determine alignment between employee qualifications and their job placements, and to provide policy guidance on retention, reclassification, and redeployment of civil servants within the new traffic management framework issued by the ministry. At the time of the assessment, the department operated through 4 key divisions responsible for traffic management operations nationwide. The Inspectorate Division, the Motor Vehicle Division, the Driver's License Division, and the Tricycle and Motorcycle Division. Collectively, these divisions previously handled vehicle registration services, driver licensing administration, traffic regulatory enforcement coordination, and regulation of motorcycles and tricycles. These operational responsibilities are now transitioned under the government's traffic management concession framework with the Liberia Traffic Management Incorporated, the LTMI. Let's look at the workforce verification results. The Department of Land and Rail Transport had a total workforce of 191 employees. The Civil Service Agency verification exercise established the following. Out of the 191, 176 employees constituting 92% were successfully verified and validated. 15 employees constituting 8% remain unverified. And many that they did not appear before our analysts, they were never seen. And as we make this presentation, the Civil Service Agency has blocked those 15 names on the payroll, pending their appearance for us to know whether or not they are human beings first, then second, employees of the Ministry of Transport. So let me emphasize clearly. All 176 verified civil servants will be retained within the Ministry of Transport's workforce and supported by the government as has been. No verified civil servant will lose employment as a result of this reform. Let's look at the workforce distribution across the divisions. The verification exercise examined workforce distribution across the existing divisions. Inspectorate Division alone constituted 99 employees. Prior, it is less than that now because it's a total of 176. Prior constituted 99 employees, constituting 52%. Motor Vehicle Division, 55 employees, constituting 29%. The Driver's License Division, 20 employees, constituting 10%. The Tricycle and Motorcycle Division, 4 employees, constituting 2%. And then all those in the category of clerks, of attendants, dispatchers, which falls in the administration category, were a total of 13 and constituted 7%. Let's look at the workforce qualification of these people, the qualification. So the Civil Service Agency assessed the alignment between employee qualifications and job placements, people who are regular place, wrongly placed. So those who are regular place of that number are 155, constituting 81%. Those who are overqualified, meaning who have professional and academic qualifications, years of experience, but are serving in roles that don't align with their professionalism, are 19 in total. And that constitutes 10%. People who are underqualified, who must not be in the roles that they are currently in, they are 14 in total, and that constitutes 7%. And people who are completely misplaced, there are 3, constituting 2%. So the findings confirm that the majority of civil servants are appropriately positioned within those divisions in their roles, while a smaller number require reclassification, professional development to strengthen role alignment. So what is their educational qualification that's supposed to match the roles that they're serving? We also did that assessment. The educational profile of the workforce demonstrates a diverse combination of professional experience and academic qualifications. What are the numbers? In the 4 divisions I talked about, I know the minister did not talk about inspectorate because it's obvious. Nobody touching inspectorate. All of them are routine because of the obvious role they have in policy, regulation, and compliance. But of the 4 divisions in question, only 2 people have master's degree of the 176 that we are retaining 2, and that constitutes 1%. You have 39 people who obtained bachelor's degree of various types. That constitutes 20%. And you have people who are classified under what we call university students. They are people with no degrees. They are only going to school. They are students. That category constitutes 72. They are 72 people. And that constitutes 38%. These are people who are still in school. You have 4 people who hold or possess associate degrees of various types, 4, and that constitutes 2%. And you have 68 people who only possess high school diploma, 68 in the 4 divisions, and that constitutes 36%. So if you combine people with high school diploma, 68, and combine only university students, 72, well, you do the math. That's the highest category. And then those with no formal credential, academic or professional, there are 2, constituting 1%. So the findings highlight the importance of capacity development and professional training to support the modernization of Liberia's traffic management system. Now let's look at workforce sustainability profile of the 4 divisions impacted by the concession. The age profile of the verified workforce confirms that the department retains a strong and sustainable pool of human capital, and it's true. Here's why. You have 142 employees in the 4 divisions that are below the age of 55 years. Below the age of 55. And that constitutes 81%. But you also have 20 of them who fall between the ages of 55 and 59. That's 11%. And Minister, that's where we need to place emphasis on succession planning. So 60 years and above, there are 14 people who fall in the retirement bracket. And if any of these people are in general support in the civil service, not the classified civil service, technical and professional, they all will be retired. because the ministry does not really need them necessarily to be there. They can be retired, and that's 8%. So the total of this number is 176. So the structural reorganization of the divisions, the minister has laid it out. It is in the regulations. All we are trying to do here is to emphasize that the CSA supports 100%, and our human resource or workforce reorganization is consistent with that provision or those provisions of the regulation. So the structural reorganization of divisions. So in accordance with the new regulatory framework, the former operational divisions by the regulation has been dissolved. They are motor vehicles, driver's license, tricycle, and motorcycle as emphasized by the minister. The operational mandates previously exercised by this division relating to vehicle registration and driver licensing are now transferred to the LTMI. Establishing the new regulatory divisions, which the ministry has done, the divisions of motor vehicle policy and regulation, the division of asset law management, and the division of traffic monitoring and enforcement. This division repositioned the ministry from direct service delivery toward policy development, regulatory oversight, infrastructure protection, and enforcement coordination. Why is it important for me to emphasize this? It tells you the pattern by which we are doing the workforce reorganization. So workforce retention and redeployment framework. The government has adopted a balanced workforce transition framework. Retention of verified employees, civil servants. All 176 verified civil servants will be retained within government service and redeployed in appropriate roles within new regulatory divisions and related oversight responsibilities. The voluntary transition opportunity to LTMI. Voluntary transition. Voluntary. I'm emphasizing and underscoring, especially for my professional colleagues in the media. Voluntary. This is not mandatory. Voluntary. Up to 30 qualified employees have the opportunity to transition to the Liberia Traffic Management Incorporated. Voluntary. The transition is entirely voluntary of the 176 based on our discussion and understanding reached with LTMI. They can accommodate 30 qualified employees, but it is voluntary, meaning they have the choice. Employees who wish to make this transition simply need to express their interest through the established administrative mechanism already in place. Employees have until March 12, 2026 to make their LTMI transition choice clear. After March 12, this opportunity will no longer exist. I will repeat that. Employees have until March 12, 2026 to make their LTMI transition choice clear. After March 12, this opportunity will no longer exist. It is important to clarify that employees who transition to LTMI will no longer be considered civil servants. They will instead become employees within the private sector and will be governed by the Decent Work Act of Liberia, which regulates employment conditions within private sector institutions. Employees who choose not to transition will remain civil servants within the Ministry of Transport and will serve the government of Liberia as civil servants and will be assigned to appropriate roles within the Ministry of Transport's new regulatory framework. The Civil Service Agency and the Ministry of Transport, therefore, are currently finalizing the following: organizational structures of the new divisions, the minister told you, staffing configurations, reporting lines, performance benchmarks, compliance indicators, detailed job descriptions. Following this process, affected or impacted civil servants will undergo a structured professional onboarding and orientation process to ensure their effective integration into the new regulatory divisions. Government actions to strengthen oversight. As part of this reform framework, the government is taking additional steps to strengthen institutional oversight, including establishing stronger traffic regulatory monitoring systems within the ministry, strengthening compliance monitoring of LTMR operations, implementing continuous capacity development programs for routine civil servants, and strengthening reporting and accountability mechanisms within National Traffic Management System, so there's not player and referee situation, LTMR operational at the same time assessing its monitoring and evaluating. Government will assert its oversight and regulatory and compliance responsibility, and that's what the ministry issued in the regulation. These measures ensure the modernization of traffic management systems that enhances government oversight rather than weakening regulatory authority. Professional conduct of civil servants in this regard. The Civil Service Agency strongly reminds all civil servants that matters relating to institutional restructuring and government policy decisions fall within the authority of designated government leadership. In this case, the full authority of the Ministry of Transport. Civil servants are therefore encouraged to conduct themselves in accordance with the standing orders for the civil service human resource policy framework, and all other applicable institutional policies and regulations. Professionalism, discipline, and respect for administrative processes remain essential pillars of the Liberian civil service. Finally, the transition to the LTMR framework represents an important national modernization initiative aimed at improving service delivery, strengthening revenue administration, and introducing modern traffic management systems. However, this reform has been carefully designed to protect civil servants, preserve institutional knowledge, and maintain strong government regulatory authority. Let me therefore reiterate the government's position clearly. All 176 verified civil servants will be retained. Up to 30 employees may voluntarily transition to LTMR if they choose to do so before March 12, 2026. Those who remain will be reclassified and redeployed within the ministry's new regulatory divisions. This balanced approach ensures that modernization proceeds in a manner that protects workers, strengthens institutions, and advances the national interests. The Civil Service Agency appreciates the cooperation of all stakeholders as this important transition continues. I will close. None of the 176 civil servants will lose their job. They will be retained. They will be reclassified. They will be redeployed. They will be professionally trained and onboarded. If anybody is going to do anything counterproductive, probably it means that in your former role, you were maybe taking stuff, receiving things on the side. That's not going to happen anymore, because I know we are Liberians. I too used to go for driver lessons, and I used to go to get plates. And sometimes people will collect the money from me and say I can help you to do it, and I have to give something small or do stuff. Those things were illegal. And if those things are not happening again, it means that they're not supposed to happen. In the first place, they were not legally done. So you cannot compromise the interest of the institution and the country because of your selfish interest. Nobody is going to consider that. This we have signed here today is the caveat that all the employees concerned, you have been protected, you are giving opportunities, you are giving choices. If you should go to the contrary, immediately we will apply fully 100% the civil service standing orders. In a case where suspension is necessary, you will be suspended 1 month without pay. Where dismissal is needed, you will be dismissed. So I want to say that as much as you are protected, you have all the choices and opportunities, but you are also under the governance of the civil service standing orders. Mr. Minister, thank you.
So, thank you, Mr. Sano, for this opportunity. I think we have been here and we are there again. I want to recognize the people, the Minister of Transport. Thank you very much for your service and your coordination with my big brother from CSA. It has not been easy, but that's why they call service to country. I want to recognize the fishery team here. I want say Junior, the senior man. It's good that we are part of your conference because it's very important that we should collaborate and coordinate. To the media, I want to say thank you again for this platform, and also to all our colleagues out there sitting with us. I want to recognize you people because it's important that when we come to this press briefing, you are part of us, we recognize you. Alright, to the media and the Destiny audience, the Liberian people, we were here last year. We had a high power delegation from our regional office, the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization, ARIPO. That body came for specific reason. And the reason was to meet our stakeholder on some of our outstanding treaties. So we witnessed a few days ago, the President, His Excellency, Joekai submitted 8 outstanding treaties on intellectual property in Liberia. So the outstanding treaties are, we have the Arusha Protocol. The Arusha Protocol is for plain bill of rights. So somebody will say, we want to ask, what is the Arusha Protocol? This protocol is very important to our country because when we ratify this treaty, it will give our farmers, the agro-business people, that opportunity to trade into the 2 countries. And these countries are members of the African Intellectual Property Organization, which Liberia is a part. So the President submitting the 8 treaty to the House is a significant milestone for our country because intellectual property across all the different sectors, like you can name them, the health sector, the agricultural sector, all the different sectors. So the other one is, he submitted a treaty on the International Convention for the Protection of Nuclear Variety. Is the same. So we have the international body and we have the regional body. The international body is the UPOF. It's the same thing. Somebody will say the UPOF, why is it important to our country? It's very important because when we ratify this treaty, our farmer, our agro-business people, the local community will benefit because you will see that in treaties, people are coming up with technology to resist climate, the climate change, the sea breeder rise. Some of the cities are coming on from other countries. You realize that they resist climate change. We have a lot of things that are going on when it comes to growing our crops these days. You realize that you plant and you see that the rainy season now is coming sooner. So it's important when you rectify this treaty, they got technology in place that is resisting these climate changes. So we got a Kampala protocol. Why is it important for the Kampala protocol? The Kampala protocol is for the voluntary registration for all copyright. I'm seeing the media thing here. They got content creators. The Kampala protocol is a protocol for the regional office, the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization. Again, when we ratify this protocol, our content creators, the copyright, the creators, the innovators, they will be able to benefit from this particular treaty into the 2 member states. The African Regional Intellectual Property has 22 member states in Africa, the English-speaking country. Because we got the French on the other side, we got the English on the other side, and we are member of this body. So ratifying this treaty is important to our country because we see copyright holder crying for years there. How can we be protected in the other countries? To ratify this treaty. If we don't ratify the treaty, it's like you are a member of an organization, but you are not even paying the form, you are not paying due, but you just say, I'm a member. In order for you to be a full-fledged member, you have to ratify the law that governs this particular body. So it's important for the Kampala protocol. Then we have the whiteboard performance and phonographic treaty. Now you see content creators are all on the platform. This treaty covers 156 countries in the world. Liberia ratifying this treaty, it will give us the opportunity for our content creator, the online platform, the digital platform, to be safeguarded. So it's not that we want to just submit a document that will not benefit our country. This document or the 8 outstanding treaties will benefit our country, and not only benefiting the country, it will create jobs for our young people. The farmer out there, do you know how many people are making farm and they are not getting the result what they're supposed to have because of the climate change? So ratifying, signing and ratifying these treaties are important. It will give us job opportunity. It will bring investment opportunity because investors are following all our activities. They are following us. You can say you want to change the agriculture sector, but you are not member or you are not signed this treaty. In terms of capacity building, you will not have that opportunity. In fact, fullness, the UNESCO Convention has to do with the cultural heritage. The cultural club for me is part of us. This is why I wrote this today to tell the world that Liberia has a unique club. I watched Ghana president went to Zambia. He wore that Ghana, their own traditional club. The whole Facebook took it and they were running with it. See the Ghana Kente club. It's on the EU market. So ratifying this treaty will safeguard, will protect our country club. It will provide employment for our indigenous people, the local farmers. It will add value to their product. And you will see investors coming in to invest in our particular sector. So we have come to tell everybody that the outstanding treaty that was submitted by the president is now a mistake. It's very important because intellectual property value addition. You can only add value when you are a member and paying due and you are governing body. And that's why these laws and treaties are very important. We talk about the last one is the traditional knowledge. We got something we call Whiteboard Treaty on Traditional Knowledge. We just feel that we who went to school, we should only be visible. No. We just, in our country, the president and the minister of internal affairs, we used to call it internal affairs, but now it's a local government. How do we work with the local government if we are not member and ratify the particular treaty? The cultural expression. When you go to LOFA, you will see the weavers. They are there, but they are not visible. When you ratify this treaty, it will bring investors in the country to invest in a particular sector. It will create job for our mothers, our father, in fact, even the youth in LOFA, not only LOFA. And this particular clause, you could even tell me as a geographical indication based on the origin, where it comes from. If it's from LOFA, once I see this clause is coming from LOFA, we should be able to identify that. This is what Ghana is making headway. They can say it's on the EU market. Go to Ghana. They can say we're buying for $100 now it's $150 because they are added value. That's intellectual property. So the outstanding treaties for our country is a milestone, and we are appealing to the House to ratify the treaties for us because it will create job, it will bring investment opportunity, it will even recognize our indigenous people. When they were passing the traditional knowledge treaty, I was in Geneva, and I was part of the process. I saw the Asian king with their whole attire. They respect everything about them. Even the hater they brought. Their women are coming up with this hater. And for us, we just see it as nothing. This is job creation. It will create job. It will open our country to investment. And you will see a lot of people dressing our country because of their country club. This country club. And I was telling my staff, we will have that policy while when you come into work on Friday, we want to see that country club so that we can respect our own. If Ghana can respect their own, we can respect our own and we'll add value to it. So I'm saying it because if you respect your own and add value to it, you will see people from out there coming for it. But if you don't respect your own, how will somebody respect you? If you can't respect your own or father or your mother in the home, nobody will respect you. So we are not saying this thing just for a melting. We are working behind the scene with other ministry and agencies. Agricultural ministry, the Ministry of Justice, because intellectual property across the various sector, the health sector. You guys, the cultural expression has to do with indigenous product that come from the health sector. The herbal medicine that is on the market. How do we safeguard and how do we protect them? If you are not protected, you are not rectified this treaty. Nobody is going to invest in that. Now you see that people are leaving the regular medicine that we go to the drugstore and buy. People go to Ghana, they bring the herbal medicine. And you see people going for it. Liberia got more than medicine. We have more than beef that our people are facing. We work with the complementary sector on the health ministry, and we are being cataloging them, we are being training them how to do packaging, because you can't just come up with any medicine and just put it on the market. They got regulators. So after the regulations, the IP office is telling you, you can package it like this so that it can be presentable to the market, and somebody will be able to come for it. So over the week, we had a training with some of our creators, innovators, and SMEs. We trained over 156 people in the different sectors. So the reason we had a training, we realized that we are carrying on a lot of awareness, but we still seeing a gap. We see musicians who are fighting from here and there with their managers. We see SMEs who still got their products on the market, but it's not presentable. They are not presentable. How are they marketing? How are they making the money? So we have 3-day workshop and training, one-on-one, training them how to add value to their product from stage 1, 2, 3, how people can go into contract with their manager in terms of the copyright holders. So it's very important that we come to the press and brief the press, because people will say, oh, the IB office is just seated there. No, we are not sitting. We are working with all the different right holders, the creators, even the media. I went to OK and I was telling them, every time I'm there, OK, all the media outlets, you have that unique name. I can decide to take OK. You are not registered under the authority of Liberia. Anybody who's wrong with it. So we are telling you that this particular logo and name you got, you can make money out of it. Why are we going to China to take product from China and come market it, where you can carry your name in China and brand it and come and sell it? So you realize that you take the product from China, by the time it's visible that you are making money, the manufacturer say, look, we get a product to you for 2 years, you are no longer carrying it to your country. You can't do nothing. That's his private right. It's for him, or it's for her. But if I took a make and carry to China and told the Chinese, put this make on chicken soup or seasoning, it's for me. And I can decide to protect that make in the 22 member states of ARIPO. And even in the 156 member states, that nobody can infringe on my rights. So the workshop was all about teaching and giving these synopsis so that they can be guarded, because the IP landscape now is not only in Liberia, it's all over and people's eyes are open. The infringement cases are coming up. Somebody will say, I didn't know. Ignorant to the law is no excuse. So before you say, I didn't know, we are telling you, come, so we can guide you in the process. And in that light, we got enforcement team. We are working with the ARIA to make sure that ARIA, once we register your product, will give our database to ARIA. Well, product coming in the country, in terms of infringement, they will be able to go through the database and know that this particular product is the right one, because once you are now protected under the law, it's a counterfeit. It's a counterfeit product. You can say it's original. No, it's not for you. It's counterfeit. And we are also been working with the Liberia National Police in terms of enforcement. We were part of their training section the other day. And we want to say thank you to all the different institutions who are working behind the scene to make sure that IP is visible in this country. Because intellectual property, every day I can say it, is everybody's business. We all need to fight. Our country will be visible, investor will come into our country. When we take intellectual property matter, very important. We should stop going to China, India, and taking their brand, bringing it to market it. Carry your brand. You know, it will take you longer time to do marketing, because once you brand it, you gotta do marketing, commercialization. You are commercializing. It will take you 1 or 2 years, but at the end of the day, your brand is recognized on the market. Why are you branding? Why are you going for other people's brand when it's not for you? And they will demand you like you gotta say 100 container. Is that possible? If you don't start selling that 100 container or the 50 container, they tell you, say, look, we can no longer do business with you. But if it's your brand, nobody will take it from you. If I go for 10 years, then you come buy and renew. So, Minister, thank you so much. I think we just came to tell the Liberian people and the media what we are doing, the importance of these treaties, and our collaboration and coordination with all the other institutions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Kwe. Thank you. Thank you, members of the press. I know you had the questions. We have to take into consideration the time, so we're going to please limit the question to one question per speaker. We'll take one question from a journalist, one question per journalist. While the press conference is ongoing, the former president, Ellen Joseph Saliz, was invited to address the Honorable House of Representatives, which is good for our country. I thought to elevate that because she's a former leader who has been very involved, even after she had left the president, is very involved
the power of our country. She's there contributing to the conversation about progress and development of our country. Thank you for your attention. We'll now entertain questions. Please, let's be considerate of the time.
My questions go to the Madam, thank you so much for the information and thank you for what you are doing. My question is, what measures are in place to support local rights and creators in protecting their works and collecting royalties? And another one has to do with billboards.
One question.
Thank you. My name is I report on Star TV. My question goes to the host. I want to know concerning of our comedians and content creators. What are they doing in line with the Ministry of Information to broadcast these content creators or comedians?
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Kratos and I have two separate questions, one for CSA.
No, just one.
All right, then I'll just start with CSA things critical. Let's get the ratification of several treaties, and I just want to know how those ratifications will position the country, regional property, on the paper stage. That's one.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Okay, you mentioned several treaties that were signed recently. So my question is, how does the ratification of this treaty position the country regionally within agricultural intellectual property and on the world at this stage? Yes.
Thank you. My name is Mokolu and I report for inside Liberia. My question goes to Mr. Joekai and that of Mr. Taylor.
Not the truth.
Right.
I'm earned it. It's not honorary.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. The name is Tyler, not Taylor.
Thank you. So, you have worked both for institutions talking about transport and civil service. You have worked with these people, the civil service are now protesting every time. You have worked with them for years. You know, but now you are introduced this program wherein they have choice either to work with the government or better said with the private sector. Right. So the thing is, you're now recognizing that some of them were misplaced, some of them are uneducated, some of them are disqualified. Right. Right.
No, he didn't say that.
Unqualified.
No, he didn't say that.
Let me emphasize. The questions are here.
Overqualified.
Right. You now just recognizing that these people, some of them are not educated, some of them not even
Overqualified. Man, say that. You want somebody to ask and you reorganize your question and come
But the
back.
question is organized, just that you guys don't want to give me.
He didn't say not qualified. He said
Because you're saying the wrong thing, which we can let you do.
The CSA thing was general. So you might have cleaners. People who can clean the place. You don't expect them to get master degree. So you may have people who serve in office, coffee, and those things, right? You don't expect them to get PhD. You may have securities. You don't expect them to get master.
ask a question.
So the question is, when the CSA and you transport get to know that these people are supposed to be properly placed, don't you think that your actions, with these trying to place them in places is meant to, justify the misplacement and be to introduce a new program? That's what I meant.
Let me say something. Get a reporter. The thing is, some people can stay at a job and get educated. That's what happens. Some people can stay and get educated.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My name is Alison Smo and I report for Today Liberia Television. My question goes directly to the Director General of the Liberia Tax
the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority of Liberia. Illegal fishing and all kinds of things happening in Liberia, and there has been a major concern in this country. What are some of your measures put in place to combat illegal fishing in Liberia?
Thank you. Next question. File, please.
Thank you. My name is Josh Momo, and I report for the Liberian News Agency. So my question goes to the CSA boss. Your last appearance here, the minister asked you a question relative to some civil servants that had the issue of salary from June, some up to December. And then you said to him that the CSA been working on that. So I came to know what is that all.
Yes, President.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Desmond and I report for the Democracy Watch newspaper. Thanks to the DG of NAFA, Honorable Sarah Sebwe, Senior. My concern is this conference is very important, and you talked about there will be a launch that also seek to benefit our country in terms of industrial fishing port. When does Nigeria stand ready to achieve that, and to what extent can you declassify the potential benefits that come with this conference in terms of sustainable development, economic integration? Thank you.
Hello. Hello. You need a bag now. You don't have a question to ask. Fully asking when you can just respect them and give their attention. Don't decide. Go on noise the hall. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is David KB and I report for Royal TV Liberia. My question goes to the CSA boss, Honorable Josiah Joekai. Josiah Joekai, you spoke about the 176 employees that with their job will be given back to them. And I want to know if you have any data or statistic on these people. The public want to see the data or statistic about these people.
No, I will not recall your question because I gave all the staff and data. You are journalists, I expected that you.
Good afternoon. My name is Winston Abadigan. I report for Supreme Network. I want to appreciate the DG and the Honorable Minister for their collaborative presentation. I really enjoyed that. But my main concern has to do with the affected employees. Will they be reclassified or will they be downgraded despite assurances of protecting them on their job or losing their salary?
They will be reclassified, redeployed. I'm not even watching it. I said that it was emphasized.
Yeah, my name is Joseph Sally and I report for Nata TV. So my question goes to Kobe. For me, I'm more concerned on the issue of decentralization. And most often when I go back home during July, some of these questions continue to, from my people. So I'm from Zulu. And most often when I come out, I try to, see how best that some of the messages can be decentralized, that our, mothers and our brothers from the rural part, they can really understand it. But my concern here is some of these content creators looking at the standard, at their standard, because we see kids, evolving, into content creation, when some of them are using language, that is so bad. And, if you can tell us if there are standards or maybe the flow is just spoken like that anybody can just come, just hold smartphone and just do anything in the industry. So you can just
Thank you. My name is Thompson, from the New newspaper, and I have a question for DG Joekai. Prior to the controversy surrounding the transfer of responsibility to the LMTI, you mounted this podium revealing an assessment report of several ministries and agencies, and I can recall you mentioned the Ministry of Transport. Now here you are squarely conducting your assessment of the Ministry of Transport. Don't you think that this assessment is being weaponized against those employees who took the street to protest the decision to transfer those responsibilities?
I will also note that because we did not repeat the assessment, it's the one assessment that you reference. That's it. So no weaponization. That is incorrect. It's inaccurate.
All right. I'm Romeo Yusei from KMTV Liberia, and my question was directed to Honorable Cyrus. So this is it. There are too many things when it comes to the farming, that's the future, etc. And I care to know about the local farmers and those people who are farming in that's doing future jobs in the community. What are their benefits? Are they foreign investment set or increase? What will they benefit? What's our statement?
Thank you. So those are all the questions.
Okay, so the response will take the signal format.
So that's it for questions. Next is response by the guest. So once again, as usual, I'd like to say welcome to this live broadcast. I'm coming to you live at the Ministry of Information. So that's the Director General of the National Fishery and Agricultural Authority. Keep following.
Presently, the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority runs a 24/7 monitoring system. So we have a fisheries monitoring center that operates 24/7. We also work closely with laboratory postdocs to be able to periodically patrol our waters and also the regional fisheries monitoring center. So those are mechanisms that are put in place to combat illegal fishing. In terms of the importance of the conference, I indicated that the goal is to attract private capital development investment. And that's one of the things we're going to be showcasing. And also to strengthen regional partnership. Definitely, Liberia is not an island. There are countries that have accelerated their own governance structure. And then also investment opportunities in their fisheries resources. And so it is intended to attract regional partnership. It's also intended to showcase, our comparative advantage as a country. What are those resources that we have that could be investment ready? So the conference will be showcasing that and also launching strategic frameworks that will guide the sector moving forward. The last question was how fish farmers can benefit. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. Look, yeah, definitely. So at the conference, we're going to have fish farmers, if I sitting, some of the private companies involved in fish farming will be seated on the panel to have interaction and discussion with people from other regions. And they're also going to be showcasing their products also at the conference. Right now, we are reconstructing what we call the clay hatchery in Bonney County. And once that is up and running, we're going to be having our own feed in terms of local feed to be able to supply to farmers in the area. So I hope that satisfies you. Thank you.
I just got two questions, so I answer both. Mopolo, I think I really share your anxiety, but at the same time, we grieve your indulgence. I found it difficult to understand the question you were asking. But what I picked up was training, intervention, and onboarding. So we'll take our time. It's going to be sustained. It's going to be structured. And it's not going to be a one-off event. It's going to be a process. And I lay everything out. You have a copy of my statement. Maybe if you reference it, then you better understand the answer to the question that you asked. So I will refer you to my statement. Somebody was asking a question about salary issues, even though it's not related, but I will endeavor to let you know that we took some actions. In fact, the ministry resubmitted the request to the CSA, and we have our payroll team and the HR of the Ministry of Information are working together on it. And I'm sure it's going to be addressed. One of the reasons why it's delayed is because that particular fiscal year already elapsed. And if the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning will have to address it, they have to source the funding from somewhere else. They can't take it from anybody's line that has been approved already. So I understand your concern, but I can assure you that it is being done, but we got to do it cautiously. It's a multi-sectoral process. The Ministry of Information, the Civil Service Agency, and the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. So thank you. Those are all the questions. I remember I answered all the other questions.
Thank you. Yeah. Let me add something quick. So the DG said all the trainings that we're going to do is a process. It will take time. People have been at different roles for a while. Maybe some people will be talking as silos, but we'll move them along. We'll be constructive and re-training to match their new portfolios. But I want to unequivocally say that the Ministry of Transport over the years have sent a lot of people abroad to study. We sent some people went to China, some people went to Turkey, some people went to Ghana. Currently, we got people in Ghana. There's some people I went to Morocco. Besides the numerous certificates and other programs that we send out people to go get trained on. So training is part of what when the DG mentioned about some people being overqualified, and some of them actually went to those trainings and they just came trying to place them to the right area that appropriately fit their education. About the people who are underqualified, the assessment is general. So you have securities. Somebody is a security, you don't expect him to get a master's degree. Somebody is a cleaner, you don't expect the person to get a PhD. Somebody who is a clerk, there are qualifications for that on the CSA. And those findings were just general. So I think that was the only question I'd like to address. And I think I've answered all of the questions. My office will be open through the Director for Press and Public Affairs if you have any concern there. Thank you.
Right, thank you. So the first person asked about the measure in place for local artists from our office. I think we need the media to start following us because we have had a lot of support to the artists. So the first thing, we got free registration. Same last year, April, we launched that. We say come to the office, pick up the form. If you don't know how to fill in the form, we got our help desk. This help desk is not only for filling in form, it's for legal issues as well. So with that support to the artists, we think that the office is working with them. In fact, we work with all of the different unions, the musician union, the photographer union, the movie union. So the last workshop last week we had over 100 and plus from the different creative sectors. So LIPO is supporting them, providing training for them, and providing services that we got safeguard their creation. Because when you come up with your work, we don't want anybody sitting here well, somebody go through agreement with you that you're not supposed to. In fact, most of them don't do agreement. So we are providing this training. And somebody talking about the content, the comedian and the content creators. The comedian and content creator in terms of monetizing their work. If you go on YouTube, YouTube got a standard. You came up with your comedy. So under the Bail Convention, which that is part, is automatic protection. But mind you, YouTube got standard. You can't go because it Marco, Parker, YouTube and like that. It's not possible. In fact, they will not even allow you to lower your content. So to answer that, the LTA is responsible for monetizing. I think when I was here the last time I talked about it, they are in negotiation with all the different platforms to make sure that our content creators will be able to benefit from their work. And we are working with them as well. So to answer that question, we are working with the LTA. LTA is the mother body, and they are working with other institutions from Liberia. So somebody talking about what's the benefit for the outstanding treaty? It's plenty. I said it here. It will open investment for our country. Mama, where in Lufa are doing the country club, it will add value to our country club. Somebody where in Yekepa that having their content. Once we ratify this treaty, so that means you are safeguarded, you are guarded on international, one of the international bodies. Now you will be able to even send your content. Because now you most of the content they're creating, people using other countries to monetize their content. But when we ratify the treaties, LTA conclude with the content, monetizing, you're ready to go. It's a job creation. I see most of our comedians now, you go on TikTok, I say I want TikTok. They spend a whole day there. They're making money. They're using other people out there, but they make money. So it's important in capacity building. Once you are part of an institution, you got the full right to gain whatever they have. You have capacity building, you have technical assistance, it will open investment. Our locals out there, our mothers, our fathers, the youth in the industry will get jobs. So the treatise is not limited, it's open to everybody. And it will bring, it will create a lot of jobs for our country. Another one is the decentralization. You know, I was very disappointed when it was my first time working for Reverend New Year. She and myself went to talk. The reason why we went to go talk because Moreover is not like Europe. We want our people who are in Sando, the artists who are in Sando, to be able to get this knowledge so that their work will be visible as well. The people who in Bako, they're not able to come to Moreover to they don't have interaction with us. When we are working with BASA, we work with NEBA for the IP club. We carry the awareness in these counties. Maserado, yeah, we are in Maserado, but we are working with other counties. But the decentralization is still a gap for us because we need more money. You are talking for us too now. Let me get our money. Everybody else talk for us. Let people get our money. When they get our money, that job creation. Somebody from Lofa will be able to work in Lofa. From Sando will work in Sando. Niba will be able to work in Niba on behalf of the IP office. So it's not that we don't want to decentralize the IP office. IP is everybody's business. We want everybody to know their rights. So but no money there. But the constraint. But we're working on it. Because some of our programs, like even the workshop we had, I told them, the next one will be in Magibi. The second one will have it in Rawa Sport or so. So we're planning, but it's a financial constraint that we're working on. Then somebody talked about stand up. I think I spoke about it. The stand up for children coming up with content and using abusive languages. Use Facebook. Go watch. Facebook will not allow it. And in terms of our local authority, I think Information Ministry have some of the authority, information dissemination. So we are there to protect your work. But if you bring your work, we ask for hard copy or even the content you got. If you don't fall in the scope, we are not protecting your rights. Your work will not be protected. So therefore, ask to it. You will not cause my mind, cause my car, and say I will protect you. It's not possible. That's a standard. So to answer that question, the platform got their standard. Even Liberia, we got even your community, you can't just work on and just abuse. They got the township or the community chair. They'll be able to call you to order. So children who are on the different platforms, when they start monetizing these content, they will face very, very constrained to even make money. They will not make money because the platform will not allow it. Thank you so much.
Many thanks to all our guests. Your deliberation was very detailed. Except that I want to emphasize to our media friends, the guest on the podium gave you a detailed explanation that is self-explanatory.
If you don't have a question, just say I don't have a question. But come again be asking for things I've already been explained to you. And on the issue with the Ministry of Transport employees, both the Civil Service DG and the Minister of Transport repeatedly emphasize that no employees in the department concerned salary will be affected or job will be lost. I thought that was more equivocal. Come again, say somebody trying to deliberately target somebody. For what? That's what makes it difficult for us. They say, oh, the Minister of Transport and the CSA will make a press conference. All the story they say, one generally ask question and say, you wish one thing to work us. We're clear enough. The ministry will now be concerned with policy supervision, which is more professional. We will make effort to get the people from the Liberia Traffic Management Incorporated to come here to explain what is concession involved, right? So the public can know what it's supposed to do for a country for which this tax is not taken from the Ministry of Transport. They will be able to do. But that will be able to address some of the speculations filtering in the public space. With that being said, let me now appreciate all of you for your attention and formally draw this press conference to a close. Thank you very much.
Yes.
So that's it for today's press briefing here at the Ministry of Information. Today is the 18th edition of MOI press briefing. So today MOI press briefing was jointly addressed by Honorable Salif Aratalos, Minister of Transport, and Dr. Joseph Joekai, Director General Civil Service Agency. Also in attendance was Honorable J. Sarah Simwe. He's the Director General of the National Fishery and Aquaculture Authority. NAFA, Honorable Gamin Kobe, Director General of the Liberia Intellectual Property Office. So Honorable Talo and Honorable Joekai provided updates on the transfer of driver license and vehicle registration services from the Ministry of Transport to the Liberia Traffic Management and provided updates on the current status of the ministry. Honorable Simwe, I will speak to the upcoming National Fishery Investment Conference scheduled to be held in Liberia from March 3rd to the 31st, 2026. He also speak on the 2026 First Quarter Fish Market Day sale, among others, where Honorable Kobe provided updates on the current affairs of Liberia Intellectual Property Office with regards to its recent stakeholders engagement. So once again, for those who have been following, I'd like to say thanks for following. I'll do join us next Tuesday for another edition of MOI press briefing. Until then, thanks for following. My name is Masiame Kone. Bye from my end.